What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's your boy Cris with my guy Clarence. We got another episode of ArrowHead Chief Podcast today. We got a special guest coming on today to talk Chargers and Chiefs, AFC West Showdown, Sunday Night Football. Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Chris out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? We're back with another edition of Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Here to preview the Chiefs versus the Chargers Sunday Night Football Showdown. Big playoff implications, big division game implications. The Chargers are still very much in this game. If they get a win on Sunday, it could still mean that they could still steal the division from us. So before we do all that, what's up, Clarence?
Coolin', bro. Coolin'. Ready to go Sunday night. Let's get it, dog. Division game, bro.
Yeah.
This is when it counts. This is do or die football. It's getting into them crunch time games. So I'm fired up.
Most definitely. And before we talk to our introduce our guests, we want to give a shout out to everyone in quarterback. You look down at the bottom. There's a link down there, emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go there, you'll see various mini podcasts on there, Patriots, 49ers, Jets one, and our podcast, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on there. If you click on there, you'll find it. You can get all our episodes. They also have a podcast, Every Morning Quarterback. Shout out to Anthony, Brandon, Connor, and Zach. They do their own podcast where they talk about everything league-wide, and they have betting tips also for the week, and they talk college football also. So go ahead and give them a check out, subscribe to the channel. Also, our guest today, who's also part of them, the Charger Powder Hour. They came on earlier this year when we had the Thursday night game early in the year, and back again, the homie Colin. How you doing, Colin, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on again, guys. It was we had a good time last time we talked Chiefs and Chargers, and ended up being a really great game. Didn't go the Chargers' way, so I'm sure you guys were pretty happy with that one. But all in all, man, anytime these two teams get together, it's good football. It's exciting, and there's usually lots on the line, so should be another good one.
Most definitely, man. And just like, the last one was a nail biter, this one's going to be probably a nail biter again. No matter how many, who's injured, who's what, it always finds a way to be competitive. And that's just how, those division games, like Clarence said earlier, like last night, Washington and Eagles, nobody expected the Washington Commanders to beat the Eagles the way the Eagles have been playing, and they came in there and showed that they still in it. So it's definitely going to be a big matchup. Before we talk about the game and some other topics pertaining to the Chargers, let's go ahead and talk about the AFC and AFC West. First with the AFC West. Now, coming into the season, of course, like anybody, the off season is always going to be just as big as the season because we're so excited to see football. So we see all the moves being made within the division. You see the Raiders making moves. You see you guys are making moves. The Chiefs are making, small moves, but they're making moves, trading away Tyreek Hill and getting Juju and all this stuff. Broncos getting Russell Wilson. So we were, perceived to be, this is going to be the division and we're going to beat on each other and it's going to come down to the wire. But, with injuries and, the Broncos are not as good. Russell Wilson looks like he's a shell of himself. The Raiders are just a mess. They're just all over the place. You got my man Derek Carr on the podium on Sunday crying and stuff. He's depressed.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's great.
so and then you guys, mostly you guys are dealing with injuries from Bosa to Keenan Allen. He hasn't been on the field, and Mike Williams unfortunately gets hurt. He's out. Hopefully those guys can get back this week. But it's just it's funny how you can look at something on paper and then you still got to play the game. and at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on how the AFC West is shaped out so far. Start with you, Colin.
I'll let you go, Colin.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a great way to start the show. And it's so funny because the last time we caught up, it was like the beginning of September, mid-September. So
yeah,
a lot has gone down since we've last caught up. And yeah, man, it's kind of the division that everyone thought was going to be the big boy division, and it's really just quite the opposite. I mean, like you said, Russell Wilson has not looked great at all this year, which, to be honest with you, is actually pretty surprising. I mean, when he signed that contract, I didn't think they would get his prime for the entire of the contract, but I didn't think that they wouldn't get anything out of him. I mean, he has just been not good, which has been really surprising. And yeah, man, nothing makes my heart sing more than just watching the Raiders just drown in their misery. I love it, man. When I saw Derek Carr up there crying, I literally just, the Chargers game hadn't even started yet, and my Sunday was already made. So absolutely no love lost there. But yeah, man, it's a crazy division. I still think, I mean, it's a 2-man race. I think it's been a 2-team race this entire time. And really for the Chargers, it's just going to be a matter of how healthy can you get in these next couple of weeks to try to load up and make a late season push for the playoffs. So we'll see what additions they get back and which additions come back and step up.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Yeah. I agree with you, Colin. Like when you look at Russ, so last year before the injury, the Seahawks was competitive. They was able to spread the ball to DK and to Lockett. And the offense was putting up points in Seattle. And then the injury happens. They go on that skid. Then Russ comes back, and they start winning football games and almost made the playoffs last year. And then you see him go to Denver this year, and the expectation, like nobody saw Russ playing like that. Nobody. You know what I mean? Even still, though, like with all the additions, Russ coming over and Chandler Jones and this and that, like I always felt like there was 2 teams in the AFC West that was going to be there at the end of the year, and it was going to come down to the Chiefs and the Chargers in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like Herbert is younger, Herbert's arm is stronger. You know what I'm saying? He's and that matters. You know what I'm saying? Given the fact that you got a Carr who has been up and down his entire career, and we see now that Russ, I mean, his arm talent has just fell off a damn cliff. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, and pretty much how Pat was alluding to it, like, it's going to be the Chiefs and the Chargers, like, and here we are right now. You know what I'm saying? Sunday Night Football. Who wins it probably wins the division. There's no probably to it. Like, they'll have that lead in the division, so.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting the Broncos to be so bad. And it's not, I don't think, okay, so Russell Wilson's been bad. I'm not discounting that. But I think it's accentuated with bad coaching too. You got a horrible coach in Nathaniel Hackett who can't cover up Russell Wilson's badness. Like, I think if he had if Sean Payton was the coach of the Broncos, I think he could kind of cover up some of that badness from Russell Wilson because he would scheme it up better, Go ahead, Lance.
I also think Javonte Williams being hurt, played a huge part in it too. Like
Yeah,
I think
most definitely.
Javonte Williams was gonna be like that workhorse, to take that pressure off of Russ.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. He losing him for the season, that ultimately killed their season because he's their best player.
They haven't had Tim Patrick for
Him too.
season at all either, so that's another big receiving threat.
Yeah, he got hurt early. Yeah.
Because he's like their deep threat. He's like the speed guy who can get, who gets open deep. So yeah, most definitely. I wasn't expecting the Broncos to be this bad. The Raiders, I thought the Raiders were going to be decent. I thought they was going to be like a 6th, 7th seed, maybe even a 5th seed. I didn't think they had a chance to win the division because at the end of the day, I'm not a big Derek Carr guy. I don't think Derek Carr. He's solid. He's a cool quarterback. He can keep your team afloat if you have the right pieces around him and the right coaching. But if you don't have all that around him, he's not going to succeed. He's just not. Now, I commend him last year. It was a dumpster fire last year when they lost Ruggs and, all these players to a litany of things. But, and they waited to the playoffs, and they even probably should have beat the Bengals in that game. But still, this year you come in, you think Josh McDaniels has learned from his last stint, when he coached the Broncos. He was young. He thought he was Belichick. He learned his lesson. So you think he's going to come in with a different mindset. But it's just it hasn't worked out. It just has not worked out at all. And they're just a dumpster fire now. It's just like they're not – I don't think they're buying into the program no more. The Chandler Jones trade hasn't worked out. He's got 1.5 sacks in 9 games, which I thought that he wasn't going to work out anyway. I thought he was overrated from last season. I thought he had one great game, and then the rest of the season it was just like, okay, he's cool. But coming in this season, I didn't really expect too much from Chandler Jones. Max Crosby is still good. He's still a good player. But there's only so much Max Crosby can do. And then their secondary's not that good. Devontae Adams is still Devontae Adams. He's still putting up numbers. He's still top 5 in receiving yards. So he's still doing his thing, but I just don't believe in Derek Carr. And then when it comes to you guys, I just feel like injuries, which I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys need to fire y'all medical staff with the Chargers because every year it's like a big injury to you guys that kill y'all season, or Bosa's always hurt. Keenan Allen stays hurt. Like he's all pro injury list every year. So it's just like, and if you guys just stay healthy, I believe you guys will be right there in the thick of things with the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets, the Ravens. All this AFC is still tight. Like I'm not sitting up here with my feet kicked up thinking, "Oh, the Chiefs got this." Like, no, we still got to win games. Like this thing is still tight, and anything can happen in these next 8 games. Anything can happen. This could come down to week 17 when dudes are still fighting for number 1 positioning in the playoffs. So this thing is not settled by no means. And if you guys get healthy and just start stringing some wins, because you guys probably should have beat the 49ers the other night. If you guys had more weapons and maybe if Bosa's there, I think you guys probably would have won that game. Because I'm not a Jimmy G guy. I don't think Jimmy G's that good.
You said too much, Chris. Okay,
that's me. I'm just saying.
Okay, Chris, let's wrap it up. You ain't got to talk trash about Jimmy G. No.
I think is
stop. Stay on topic.
I'm not a Jimmy G guy.
Stay on topic. Get off the Niners, bro.
Basically, what we were saying was, and it sucks so much when your team just gets riddled with injuries because it's almost like it's the worst way for a season to die because you don't want to use it as an excuse. Players want to use it as an excuse. Your opponents care if you're injured. They don't want to hear about it. The Chiefs, do you think Chiefs care that we're going to come in? They're going to treat it like any other game. And as a fan, it sucks, man, because deep down what the underlying issue is, but it's almost like it's the elephant in the room that you can't talk about because other fans give you
Yeah.
crap. Oh, you know, this team was hurt too, and I get it, like injuries happen. But when you're as decimated as this team is, it's just hard to win games. I mean, the talent level that you're putting out there um, is just head and shoulders below your opponents, and I think that was the point of the Niners game on Sunday. You know, I think that was evident at times in the game. You know, we at the end of the game we only had 3 interior defensive linemen. We couldn't even run our base running package against
Wow.
Niners offense that just loves to run. So it's tough, man. Again, we're not using it as an excuse by any means, but um, you know, we do have some reinforcements coming. So, like I said earlier, you know, that's really the kind of where their season lies right now is just the reinforcements that you get back here in the next couple weeks, and if that's enough to put you in.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I mean,
Yeah, losing all them.
no, go ahead, Clarence.
No, I was just gonna touch on the fact, Sunday night, losing that D line. Like, what? How many did y'all finish the game with? Like,
3.
that was healthy.
The
I
the
mean,
big,
like yeah. I mean, and that was it for like what was it? The last 7-8 minutes of the fourth. Like,
yeah,
it, I mean, the deck is stacked against you at that point because you dealing with they offensive line who is just big and nasty and will just maul you into the damn ground. Elijah Mitchell was on Sunday night, and then you throw Christian McCaffrey in there with Juice blocking. Like, I mean, it was just too much for that D line. I kind of felt bad for y'all. Like, damn, they can't stay healthy. Like, just drop it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's terrible, man. I think the only other season I've seen as bad as this one, and I think it still takes the cake for being just the worst season maybe ever. But 2016, you
Mm.
know, just as decimated. I think the thing that, for now at least, why that season is worse injury wise is because every injury that season was like a season ender. I mean, it didn't matter who went down; they were gone for the.
yeah,
Um, some silver linings, you know, with guys like Bosa, Allen, Mike Williams, expect to come back. I think even Rashawn Slater could come back if they make the playoffs. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I've seen some articles on that. But you know, I still think they have enough pieces out there. Offensively, getting Keenan and Mike back, I think really can solve 90% of the issues that they have right now on offense, just with those two guys. So um, hopefully they play this week. I think they're trending towards that way, but we'll see how the practice reports look like this week.
yeah, definitely, definitely something to look out for. Now, going into this season, Brandon Staley, he has his, you know, controversy with, his coaching, the way he coaches, with his aggressiveness. That was the whole thing about him coming into the season. And then it seems like this season is like he wants to be aggressive, then he don't want to be aggressive. It's like he hears what the national media said about him, and he was like, well, I don't want to be aggressive here. When he's supposed to be aggressive, he don't be aggressive. But then when he's not supposed to be aggressive, he's aggressive, and then I think it ends up costing your team, wins. When he does stuff like that, it's like I'd rather him be consistent in that. Like if you're gonna be aggressive, just be aggressive. I'd rather you go all out with it then you be like, oh, I'm gonna be aggressive there, but nah, I'm gonna wait to be aggressive. I'm gonna kick the field goal here, but I ain't gonna go for 4th and 1 here. And you at the 20 on the other team side. It's like, come on. So, what is the census around Brandon Staley now, going in like while we're in mid-season?
Great question. You know, I think most of Chargers Twitter and social media still is in support of Brandon Staley. I think one thing he's done over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks to really kind of to I guess calm the storm of fans getting upset was just his defense has looked a lot more consistent. And I think, the first couple of weeks it was inconsistent, and you were starting to see, mumblings online of, well, isn't this guy supposed to be the defensive guru? Like, why does our defense look lost and a little, subpar? And they've really tightened down that the hatch on the defense. And I think overall things are pretty, I would say, neutral positive on Staley. I think it's funny what you mentioned though about the analytics and going for it on fourth. That's kind of how he's made a name for himself early on in his career. And it is funny. It's almost like he heard and listened to a lot of the critics over the off season and in training camp, because he hasn't been as aggressive this year. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I mean, I think there's lessons he learned last year as a rookie coach,
Right.
failing. And I think overall he's still that analytical guy, and he'll surprise you sometimes. I don't know if you guys caught the Cleveland Browns game a few weeks ago. The decision for him to go for it on fourth down at our own 40 with like less than a minute to go, tied ball game. So if you don't get it, all they have to do is kick a field goal. It's game over. And that's that. They go for it on 4th and 2, don't get it. Cleveland takes over, and they miss a 51 or 52 yarder that would have won it. He got bailed out for that one. I think that was probably the point in the season where people were the most upset with him. He's had a couple. Let's say, yeah, they've been 1 and 2, I think, since that game. So it's been a lot of ups and downs, man. He's 5 and 4. I honestly think like the overall grade on him right now, if I were to give him a report card, it would be a C+ for this season, and nothing spectacular, but also realizing that, I mean, he's had some really unfortunate luck with losing guys. So I think his job is definitely safe. I don't think anyone's calling for his job at the moment. Right now it seems like if there's any coach that's on the hot seat with the Chargers, it's definitely the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi.
And I was just about to ask you about him, like, because it seems like, okay, in the first half, you guys will score, but then it's like, I don't know if the scheme just gets figured out quick, because then in the second half, it's like you guys have a tough time scoring. I saw that, throughout the season, you guys in the second half just, I don't know, it's just like you guys are not offensively the same as you guys are in the first half. Do you guys feel like your offense should be, more opened up? Do you feel like it's like it's too simple? Because I feel like you guys, with Justin Herbert, man, I see a lot of like a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, nothing like down the field, nothing striking down the field, nothing going deep. Everything is like hike, and he throws a screen pass to a receiver to try to make something happen. Like, do you guys feel like that when it comes to your OC?
Yeah, like I'll tell you, I'm not a fan, and we've been vocal about that on our podcast. I think it's probably 65-35 percentage wise. Is 65 the majority of Charger fans on Twitter and social media that are pretty much sick of him at this point. They're already over him. I think the other 30-35% that still support and want to be optimistic. I really think the only argument that they have is just the injuries, and it's easy to make excuses when you're missing pretty much your entire offense. I mean, this team is missing their wide receiver 1, their wide receiver 2, their wide receiver 4 and 5, their second running back, both tight ends, yeah, it's really ridiculous. So in that sense, I think he gets a little bit of slack. But yeah, man, there's no excuse when Justin Herbert is your quarterback for all these screen passes, and I get you have Austin Eckler, that's great, but you got to find a way to spread the ball down the field. And the last couple weeks, we've seen more and more flashes of that, and I think a big part of it does have to do with Herbert's ribs that he hurt in the first Chiefs game, and he's finally kind of looking more comfortable and a little bit like his old self. But yeah, as far as Lombardi, I can tell you most fans are kind of over the Lombardi experiment, and it'll be interesting to see what Brandon Staley does. He's good friends with Lombardi. They know each other just from around the league, and yeah, and I think Lombardi will get the rest of the season to have a chance and do what he does, but I think the writing could be on the wall for him if this offense doesn't get going over the next couple weeks.
Okay, you got anything, Clarence?
So let me ask you. Yeah, I was just going to ask him. So, like, is it time to move on from Austin Eckler, or do y'all still feel like he needs to be that RB1 in the offense? Because I mean, he's still capable of being Austin Eckler and flashing, from time to time. At least the games that I've seen. I mean, you talk about the Cleveland game. I think he went for over 100 in that game. You know what I'm saying? And then, it just I'm just curious what y'all see in that position. Because when you look at that offense, first of all, if you don't know, like, the running game is everything to me. Like, I believe every offense needs to have an identity on the ground, number one. But for y'all offense going into the year, like, it was two reliable tight ends, and then you had Keenan Allen, you had Williams, and then you had Guyton and Reed, Deron Carter, if I'm saying his name right, number one, and then you had Eckler. Then you went and got Sony Michel. So it looked like what it was setting up to be was, okay, we're going to try to stretch the field a little bit more with this running game. Like, we can get to the edge with Eckler. We can pound you up the middle with Sony Michel, but we want to try to have that identity and utilize the athleticism of the tight ends, be able to work Keenan Allen underneath. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like everything just because of injuries, Slater and having the right tackle, that inconsistent. It looked like everything just kind of fell apart. But even still, like, do y'all still feel like Eckler needs to be that number one guy for y'all moving into the future with Herbert?
Yeah, I definitely think so. He's a fan favorite. Charger fans absolutely love and adore Austin Eckler. He does a lot for the Bolt fan, the community, in the off season. Gives back. He's a great player. There's no denying that. I think more to and I'll stand on this in this boat of, look, I think more of it can be done with the scheme and scheming a guy like Austin Eckler up for a guy like Justin Herbert. I think most Charger fans are kind of looking at the party and being like, bro, like, you got Austin Eckler in there, you got Justin Herbert, you got, once some of these guys get back in the lineup, you have so much to work with. Like, we've seen a couple games with Mike Williams hasn't been hurt all year. We've seen him in action, and it's kind of the same thing when those guys are still on the field. Obviously more opens up for Justin, and he can do a little bit more with that talent on the field. But I think letting a guy like Austin Eckler walk would just be sick. The only other guy that you can compare him to is McCaffrey, and they're just like, he's a touchdown machine. I mean, you can give him the ball in open space, and there's been times as a fan I'm like, all right, he's going to get 8, maybe 10 yards out of this, and he takes it 30-40 yards to the house, breaking tackles, spinning around. he's a freak, man. It's been really fun to watch him grow as a player and just up in the practice squad. A legit RB1 in a league where 5'8" guys just aren't RB1. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I definitely, to answer
Absolutely.
your question, I think yes, for sure. I would
Mhm.
like to see a more complex offense with some more ability to scheme a guy like him up, but he's a great emergency weapon too
Mhm.
for her. Hey, when no one else is open, like just get it to just pitch it to
Absolutely.
Eckler
Yep.
and let thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Once he get in space, like he dynamic as hell. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
he
My
is.
bad.
No, you good. No, I was just gonna say, no, I like Austin Eckler too. My only gripe with Austin Eckler was his injury, history. Like he would get injured a lot. He'd be out 3, 4, 5 games and then, come back and then. But other than that, I think he's a really good player. Especially catching the football out of the backfield. That's one of his. He's one of the best in the league for that. So
And
yeah,
they're getting close on a legit complimentary back. I think Josh Kelly, who is
Hmm.
the IR, had a nice reception.
Yeah.
He's in his third year, I think,
Mhm.
and really kind of having a back year. But Isaiah Spiller, a rookie that we drafted out of A&M,
Hmm.
also has been active the last couple weeks, and it's been fun to see some of those guys behind him get involved. And
Hmm.
I think either Josh Kelly or Isaiah Spiller could be the RB2 moving forward. And you guys should see some Isaiah Spiller on Sunday night. So um, he's a kid that I'm excited for.
What's up, bro? Yeah, most definitely, man. Pretty for sure we'll see him on Sunday. So now coming into this season, Justin Herbert he was looked at as the one of the favorites to win the MVP this year. He was one of the reasons why everybody was looking at you guys being Super Bowl favorites. A lot of the national media thought you guys were going to be the Super Bowl favorites because this was going to be the year of Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. That's what everybody was talking about. Those two right there at the top. They're going to win the MVP. Is going to be between those two guys. But unfortunately, with injuries to himself, he had a rib injury. He's fighting through that. He's losing receivers left and right. Offensive line falling apart. Like it just hasn't gone Justin Herbert's way. But I give kudos to the kid because he's still fighting through and he's still out there battling with his teammates and his team. But what is the consensus with you guys with Justin Herbert going, as the season is right now?
I mean, I think, yeah, just exactly what you said. A little disappointing just based off of the preseason. Really doesn't have anything to do with him. I mean, his playing, just his ribs affecting him and not having key playmakers out there. But look, man, I can tell you that Charger fans we don't have much, right? But one thing that we do have is a quarterback, and that's the biggest thing that you need. And I can tell you, no matter how banged up we are, we always feel like we have a chance when 10 is back there. And
Hmm.
I mean, even I'm a Chargers fan, 05, 04, and I mean, even all those years with Phillip, um, fans love Phillip. I mean, he's like the god for Chargers football, but uh, you didn't have that feeling when Phillip was out there. You know he was good. You knew he could ball, but you were really kind of hoping that the entire team could put something together and get a win. With Justin, man, it's hey man, let's ride. Like let's ride.
Hmm.
We're never out of it. I mean, you saw what he did after he cracked his ribs in Kansas City.
Mm,
We were just a dot down the field,
Yeah.
35,
Yeah.
40 yards.
Hmm.
I, I I would like to see him grow a little bit more as a complete quarterback. I think it was so weird watching him come out of Oregon, and watching him run and get out of the pocket. And I don't know if you guys watched I think it was the Rose Bowl game against Wisconsin this senior year. Dude had like 3 runs for like 40, 50 yards apiece. And so it just feels like he's kind of lost some of that dual threat ability. And I don't think the actual ability that he's lost. I think it's just the coaching and like brainwashing, I guess, of hey man, this is our type of QB play. Stay in the pocket. Don't get hit, throw the ball away. So there are times where I would like to see him utilize his feet more. I think you guys have one of the best guys in the league that does that in Mahomes. Just what you can create with your feet is, an extra second or two of separation, or a window that might not have been there in the pocket, but once you get out of the pocket, let these wide receivers use their skills to get open and just extend plays a little bit more. I think more could be there for you, but all in all, man, I think he's a perennial MVP candidate every season. I think for the next 10 years, it should be him, Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow, and those should be the MVP candidates every season until someone else comes up and shows that they belong in that. So, yeah, man, he's the future. He's the present. He's everything for us.
You got anything, Clarence?
Nah, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, and to add on to what you said about him running this season, I think it had more so to do with the rib injury. They probably didn't want him to be exposed, getting hit, exposing those ribs to injury, getting hit by a defensive lineman or a linebacker, safety, whatever. They probably was trying to safeguard him, telling him don't run, unless you really have to, don't run, because we don't want you to get hurt anymore. Because if we lose you for the season, then just like any team with a great quarterback, you lose them, your season's pretty much over, unless you just got, a great backup quarterback who can, get you there. So
you got more than anything. I mean, we got Chase Daniels as a backup, so the season.
They have the great Chase Daniels.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Stealing money from everybody.
Yeah. At the point, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, NFL Network. Yeah, backup, like.
Jeez. Well,
killing it, dog. He's killing it.
Shout out to Chase Daniels, man. Let's get to this game, fellas. Let's talk about the key components to this game. On offense, Colin, if you guys are going to win this game, what do you say you guys have to be successful at on offense?
Yeah, great question. I think first and foremost that they just have to protect Justin Herbert and give him a little bit of time. I don't know, it's a tough question this early in the week because I still don't know who's looking like they could be playing out. Ray Pipkins back, right tackle, and really kind of settle down that right side of the line. Even if they don't have Mike or Keenan, or even if they get one of those guys back, I think a little bit more comfortability on that offensive line can provide Justin with enough to make plays and find his guys. So I'm going to say the offensive section on the side, with a close second being just the injury report. That's honestly going into the week. It really, I think that the injury report is going to pretty much decide the result of this game. So there's a chance we might already know how this game is going to go before it even starts. But if you exclude injuries, I'll say line and protecting Justin is my biggest key.
Go ahead, Clarence.
I mean, it's the same thing from last week. You know what I'm saying? Balanced offense. Slow down Khalil and Van Noy. You know, if Bosa's not up, it's still you still got to deal with Van Noy and Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? Like they still there. Derwin James is still coming down in the box constantly. You know what I'm saying? So run the football, get a running game going, work the play action pass, get your deep over routes to clear everything out and work somebody underneath. Like that's the keys to it.
Yeah, I agree. We got to get Pacheco going early. So this offensive line's got to be stout, great again. Trey Smith has to have another game like he had last week against Jacksonville. That interior has to have another game. And, you know, the whole offensive line, period, has to have another game like they had last week. Blocking, getting Pacheco holes to run through, and Gerald McKinnon, using him in the passing game with the, with screens out of the backfield. You know, that's going to be key in this game. You know, that worked last week. That helped us get second and short, third and second, third and one. Like those things are going to be key when it comes to, third down conversions. Also, what's just like Colin said, the injury report is Juju playing this week. We don't know. We don't know how bad that concussion is. They might keep him out to be precautious because concussions have been a big talking point this year. So they don't want, they might not want to be looked at like, oh, they put Juju back out there. And you saw how he got hit. His whole hands like clamped up. Like it wasn't as bad as Tua, but it was close to it. So that's going to be something. Is because Juju has established himself as our number one wide receiver. Everybody knows Kelsey is the number one weapon, pass catcher. But Juju has been, building that rapport with Mahomes, he gets open on third downs and he's good across the middle. So we're gonna need MVS. He's gonna have a big game. Kadarius Toney is probably gonna, get more on his plate this week. Is Miko playing this week? Is he gonna play this week? That's another thing. So MVS and Kadarius Toney, it might be crucial this week. And the tight end is Noah Gray and Fortson. Those guys are going to be crucial in that middle of the field, getting open and opening things up so Mahomes can operate, and possibly try to get the ball to Kelsey and try to get the ball to McKinnon out the backfield. So, like you said, a balanced attack is definitely what we need. But, guys are going to have to step up this week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Colin, what do you think the Chargers would have to do on defense to stop this Chiefs offense?
I think stopping the run is going to be that's something that they've struggled with the entire season. It's gotten a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. I think they actually did play a pretty good game against the run on Sunday night against San Francisco. Now in the box score, it's still going to show they gave up 150 yards, but when you consider how they got the yards, they only gave up 2.7 a carry to McCaffrey, or a carry to Elijah Mitchell. So it was good at times, and then it was mediocre for other points of the game. So I think if you can shut down this Chiefs run game and constantly force Mahomes to convert from 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, I think, look, that's going to be probably the best chance you have getting off the field, getting your offense back out there and keeping 15 off the field. So shutting down the run game, a little side key to that, it would just be eliminate the big play. They've gotten beat a lot this season on home run plays, whether it's in the air or on the ground. It seems like they've been susceptible to it at times. And they eliminate that and shut down the run. I think this defense will, have a very good chance to shut down this offense.
Go ahead, Clarence.
For our defense, I think first of all, I'll get Frank back this week. So there's that. That pass rush, that defensive line is going to continue to keep ascending. I think that's to have to go on the road and play. You know, it takes a lot of things to go right, especially with this type of environment that it'll be Sunday night. Like this is going to be almost a playoff like atmosphere Sunday night in SoFi. So I think defensively being able to get that pressure, because we should feel good about the pressure that we was able to get the first time. On the back end, I think it depends on the back end, you know, who's up and who's down. If Keenan Allen and Big Mike are up, then you know that puts that pressure on the secondary, because Trent didn't get to see them the first time. You know what I'm saying? So Trent was out. So we got to keep an eye on that matchup. You know, is it going to be Mike or is it going to be Keenan that they put him on? You know what I'm saying? Like, interesting to see that matchup. But overall for our defense, like, I think I would give 1A and 1B to the secondary and the defensive line as the two strongest parts of our defense. Not saying that that Nick Bolton and Willie Gay a slaw by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that they not dope, but I've loved what I've seen from the front and how they've been able to get pressure and getting some sacks now out of this defensive front. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off of that too. Yeah, the front four is gonna have to get home without blitzing. Spags, you know, even though Spags likes to blitz, we need Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Carlos Dunlap, George Karlaftis, all those guys. We got to make life uncomfortable for Justin Herbert, just by rushing four. And then sometimes he'll sprint, you know, let Spag sprinkle in sometimes a rush from, you know, L'Jarius Sneed, or, you know, he was even rushing last week, Joshua Williams. He was rushing him off the edge sometimes too. So that's going to be key when he blitzes. They got to get home or get pressure to, you know, make him throw some off throws. These linebackers are good. Willie Gay is going to be essential in the screen game when they giving the ball to Austin Eckler, because the first game he was getting there, but he, you know, that energy from Willie Gay, sometimes he gets there too fast and he runs right past the running back. So he's got to calm down a little bit, and, you know, when he dissects the play, be more cautious and aware, you know, where he's at. When he's breaking up a play or something like that, because the screen game is going to be essential, you know, stopping, you know, with this offense, because the Chargers are really good at the screen game. That's what a lot of their stuff is at the line of scrimmage. So, and then, like you said, Trent McDuffie didn't play. They're going to test Trent McDuffie. If Mike Williams is out there, please believe Mike Williams, there's going to be a play where Mike Williams is on Trent McDuffie, because the knock on Trent McDuffie is what? It's not that he can't cover. He's a smaller corner. So what do they always do? They put the big guy on the smaller corner. That's what they did last time. They put Mike Williams on Fenton, and Fenton couldn't cover him. Now, I think Trent McDuffie is worlds better than Fenton, but still, he's going to get tested.
Oh, yeah. He get his head around.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. But he's going to get tested, and this is going to be a big game. I'm not sitting here saying that Trent McDuffie is going to go zero. He got to go 0 for 0, but he can't give up, you know, big play after big play after big play, you know.
Yeah. And just to add to what you were saying about getting pressure, Herbert, you know, I think the importance of that practice report, you know, if Trey Pipkins is not playing, you know, you guys will definitely see a lot of, you know, attacking the right side of that line. You know, there's Zion Johnson, the right guard, who's a rookie. Terrell is a rookie, started on Sunday night in place of Trey Pipkins. So you're looking at a rookie right tackle, right guard. So that's something to keep an eye on. You know, keep the injury report this week, the status of Trey Pipkins, because that could be a big game changer if he's not able to go.
Yeah, and another thing, Clarence, you know, that'll be interesting, is Andrew Wiley going to play this week? He's got an elbow sprain, so will it be Prince, Tega out there on the right side this
mhm,
week? And he played
mhm,
good last week,
mhm,
but let's see what he can do this week against Van Noy, or
mhm,
I'm sure they're
mhm.
going to put Khalil Mack
Yeah,
on their side to test him out too.
yeah,
So, that'll be interesting to see
yeah,
too. If Prince is playing, we'll see
yeah.
if he can hold up. Because if he can hold up, then that's 2 game
Mhm.
sample size, Clarence, and we might be
That's
calling
two.
for Wiley's job.
It might happen. Yeah, yeah, it might happen. Absolutely.
If he
Yeah.
does good,
He got there and lock it down this week. It's
yeah,
over.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wiley
it'll be
might be on
over.
the Wiley might be
There's
on the
no road.
bench.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, at that point, there's no point in trying to go back to Wiley when you competing for stuff. You know what I'm saying? You trying to lock up a division. You trying to get
Mm,
number one seed. Like if the kid is playing and he playing solid over there and keeping Pat clean, then don't chance it.
mm,
Andrew do dumb shit at dumb times. He get dumb penalties, and I mean just
yeah,
he's best as a swing tackle, dog. Like
that's what he is.
just yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Colin, what would you say is the key matchup that you're looking at in this game?
Great question. Uh, I I'm going to say this is probably an underrated one, um, but Corey Linsley and Chris Jones. I think whenever these two teams play,
Mm,
it's a matchup that's not talked about enough. And these are two guys at the top of their game. Corey, the center for the Chargers,
mhm,
Chris Jones, obviously your guys' stud
mhm,
D tackle. So look, when Linsley went out of the game, too, it was so apparent. I mean, he sets all the protections for Justin. So,
Mm,
usually, you'll see. I mean, we've gotten used to seeing, Philip kind of control all of that at the line of scrimmage, and we've seen guys like Peyton do it before, and a lot of these savvy, 10, 12, 15-year veterans that have seen it all. They're kind of going up there and setting the protection and taking care of everything. Well, in this offense, it's Corey Linsley, and it's so apparent when he's not on the field because that interior pass rush just seems to overwhelm this offensive line. So, uh, the one player, man, that I always just like, I hate seeing his name pop up for you guys is Chris Jones. He just seems to wreck games in the middle. And when Linsley went out in that first game, I was at the game. Me and Miles both were actually, and I looked at my buddy and I'm like, "It's over, man. Like they're not going to be able to put a drive together with him not on the field against a guy like Christian." So I'm really looking forward to seeing that interior pass rush. Chris Jones against Corey Linsley and even our guards. Matt Tyler, Zion Johnson. So um, not the sexiest matchup, but that's the one that comes to mind for me. It's the one I'm excited to pay attention to.
uh, for me, it would have to be. Um, it's just basically, if this offense can be consistent for 2 weeks and be patient and run the football. I mean that's all I'm interested in. Can they be patient enough on the road to run the football? Because if they can do that, I mean it changes everything. It changes everything. That I mean that's the missing element to this offense over the past 2 years for me. Has just been that. So that's what I'm interested in Sunday night.
for me, um, I'd probably say this defensive line versus offensive line. Can they continue to get pressure? Colin Saunders, Dunlap, Chris Jones. The last time they played the Chargers, like Colin said, when Linsley was out there, they weren't getting really much penetration. Once Linsley was out,
Mm-hmm.
that's when the
Mm-hmm.
pressure started coming. So they got to be able to do it with Linsley on the field. I mean, it is what it is. The best got to beat the best. So
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jones is going to have to give pressure. And what's going to be an interesting matchup is because what they've been doing lately is they've been switching him in and out in on the inside, and they've been putting him on the right side too. So if Pipkins is back, we're gonna see if Chris Jones in that matchup is that's gonna be key because they've been like putting Karlaftis on the inside, and then they kick Chris Jones on the outside with Dunlap, and they go they rush forward. So let's
Okay.
see, that matchup is gonna be interesting too. Like they've been doing that a lot as the weeks have been going on. And Chris Jones has looked good. Like last year, he didn't look too good as a defensive end. This year, he's looked a lot better in certain snaps.
Mhm.
Not all the time on the right side, but when he went out there, he's been pushing dudes into the quarterback. So he's looked a lot better, and that's probably with him getting reps last year. So he's probably learned a lot from playing on that side on the end. So that's going to be an interesting matter. Where Chris Jones is he? Is he get?
That NASCAR
Yeah,
package ain't no
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's him switching out,
it ain't no joke.
inside and outside. Can Chris Jones, apply pressure? If he's not getting good pressure on Lindsley, you might see them kick him out right and try to get pressure on the right tackle. So that's an interesting matchup. My secondary matchup would be, of course, if these receivers are up, Williams, Allen,
Yeah.
this secondary versus these receivers, because Mike Williams was killing us in the first half. He was smoking us. So with Trent McDuffie, with Jalen Watson looking better, Jarius Sneed, out there, plus Joshua Williams, who he had a couple of rough plays in the Buffalo game, but he's learned a lot from that game, and he's played a whole lot better. Like these young guys are out there playing really, really well, and they're getting better as time goes on, especially for rookies. And for this team to trust these rookies, getting rid of Fenton and saying we're going to put this game in y'all hands because we believe you guys can get better game to game. That's going to be an interesting matchup too, because it's definitely going to be a test for them with a Keenan Allen and a Mike Williams, or either one of them out there. If it's just one of them out there, that's still going to be an interesting matchup. Can they stop them? And the other receiver, Carter, he's no joke either. I see him running past guys all the time. So that's definitely going to be a matchup. And Everett is a matchup nightmare with these safeties.
Yeah, and actually, I'm a little surprised no one mentioned what's kind of turned into like the marquee matchup every time the teams play, and that's Travis Kelce and Derwin James. I mean, that's usually the one that the TV analysts always get really excited about, and I think it was this year when Derwin like body slammed him there on the goal line. So, they have a lot of respect for each other. It's cool to see those guys go out. I thought it was funny that we all kind of that one.
Because with that matchup, it's give or take. You know what I'm saying? Like Travis is going to get his sometimes. Derwin James is an all-pro. He's going to get his on Kelce. It's going to be nip and tuck. I expect Kelce's numbers to be anything from I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 50 yards and maybe a touchdown, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 80 to 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like that's usually his stat line when he plays the Chargers because of Derwin James. When he's healthy, he kind of gives Kelce a little bit of problems.
We might not see as much of it either as we normally do, just because of the amount of injuries everywhere else. And Derwin is a Swiss Army knife. So because of a lot of these other injuries, we might not see him line up in more of that traditional safety spot. And I mean, like you guys said, I mean, he'll be on the edge, he'll be in the slot, he'll be all over the place. So that could be a factor too when it comes to that matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Something to look out for, definitely. All right. Let's go ahead and give our score predictions, fellas. What's your score prediction, Colin?
All right. I thought about this one for a few minutes because I knew this was going to be coming up. And I'm having a tough time. I'm having a tough time picking the Chargers, but I am going to pick the Chargers solely based off of my preseason predictions, and I had these two teams splitting their matchups. I thought it was going to go the other way. I thought we would have found a way to take week 2 matchup and probably drop this one. But because it didn't work out that way, I do think this team can put it together and beat the Chiefs. So, man, I think it's going to be a crazy game. I really think this is going to be another overtime game for the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Chargers 31-28 in overtime. Close game. Dicker, the kicker, going out there for a game winner. So, yeah, we'll see, man. But, yeah, I'm going to go 31-28 Chargers in a game that makes everyone's hands a little sweaty.
What you got, Clarence?
Yeah, I'm gonna call 28-23 Chiefs. Oh man, listen, you need to stop with that mess, bro. I'm gonna say 28-23 Chiefs. Yeah, that's what I'm. He be on some man. Listen,
I don't be on nothing. Every time we come to score predictions, you be acting like you be scared to
Nah,
get.
yeah, you do. What you got? Nah, bro. Because sometimes it just don't be looking right, bro. Like I'm not gonna pump fake and give y'all something fake. So it just be hard sometimes.
I hear you. I'm going 31-24. Chiefs. I think it's gonna be tight. Fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes gets the ball with a minute left. He marches down the field, gets a touchdown, game winner. Everybody goes home. Well, all Chiefs fans go home happy.
See, that's the thing. I'm torn on, like, I don't know if somebody gonna jump out to a big lead just straight out the gate or not. Like, I
don't think so either.
That's the thing. I'm curious about who finds it quick.
I think it's gonna be like one of those, like, quarter for quarter. Like, okay, it looks like the Chargers is looking good. The Chargers, Chiefs is taking lead, and then it's gonna be nip and tuck, and then it's gonna be the fourth quarter. It's gonna be 24-24, and then cut out, and then boom.
Oh, we lost.
Yeah. And then boom, we're gonna win the game.
Yeah. It ain't gonna be no joke.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
The guys are excellent.
That's an easy one. Like they lost to the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? And that was so close. You know what I'm saying? But for them not to be able to.
That's why.
Give me 1 second.
I was kind of hoping y'all beat the 49ers, so you guys wouldn't come in here, off the loss. I want you guys come in here after a win,
Oh yeah. Look, I was hoping we'd at least, if you beat the Niners, then this game means a little bit more, because it's like, Chargers win, it could be tied with the tiebreaker being also one apiece. So, the not winning this week hurts a lot, but at this point, I think most Charger fans would gladly give up on the division just to get into the playoffs, especially with just how the season's gone so far.
Yeah, because if you guys, like I said, if you guys get healthy, even if, whoever wins this game, if you guys get healthy towards the end and start racking up these wins, especially going into play, if you healthy and hot, going in with momentum, going into the playoffs with this AFC, the Dolphins look like they can win it. The Bills, even though they look down, they've been, Josh hasn't looked too good. I still believe the Bills are going to be right there. I'm not going to sit up here and just discount the Bills. They're just going through a little turmoil right now. But, every team goes through that little turmoil during the season. And then once the playoffs come, they look like a playoff team again. So it's tight. It's a tight AFC. It's not like the NFC where you could be like, oh, it's the Eagles and maybe the Vikings and, maybe the Cowboys, Other than that, the NFC is pretty much easy to pick out. Okay, that team probably going to win the Super Bowl. It's probably going to be the Eagles or the Vikings.
Hey,
but
let me ask you guys this. Who would you guys say would be the team year to year consistently? Who scares you guys the most? When you guys see the schedule announced in April, you go on, you check it. Because we've talked about this on our podcast. We're like, man, we feel like we play the Chiefs better than anybody. the most consistent, the most competitive, down to the wire. So who are you guys kind of like intimidated by a little bit, or just never really like anxious to meet up with?
Honestly, I mean, I would say you guys, when you guys are at full strength and healthy, I'm definitely not like looking at you guys like, oh, we're gonna, roll over the chart. Like, no, you guys are the one team in our division where I don't look forward to playing because I know it's gonna come down to just like last year.
Yeah.
Came down to the wire both games, man. It took overtime for us to Kelsey, a miraculous play, him shaking a few dudes and winning the game. Because I thought we was about to lose that game. I honestly thought we were about to lose. And they pulled it out. So I would say you guys, the other Buffalo, when Buffalo's like right, I mean, I can't discount Buffalo.
Sure.
Josh Allen is a top tier quarterback, and their defense is really good. Their defense is really good. This year, only because of their defense is actually not bad, but only because of those receivers in Miami with Tyreek Hill, and we know Tyreek. we both know how Tyreek is.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Gesicki, and now they got a running game with Jeff Wilson. It's like that team, as long as Tua don't mess it up, he don't have to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. As long as he's getting the ball to those weapons and they got an efficient running game, they're a threat, and that's a team that no team really wants to play because you don't want to play against those receivers because not just Hill, but Waddle is just as fast as Hill. Like, those guys are speedsters out there. So you don't, to game plan against those guys, man, I'm not going to lie to you. Now, because the Ravens are a formidable team. I'm not taking none away from the Ravens. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a playmaker. But it's just that they don't scare me because they don't have a receiver that scares me. They have no receiver that scares. He scares me. He could break the game open. But they have no receiver that scares me. So if we shut down the run on them, it's like they're out of here. The Jets, I don't believe in Zach Wilson. So their defense is really good, but he could throw us like 3 picks and they lose the game, So I'm not scared of the Jets. It'll be you guys, Bills, Dolphins.
Okay.
Just like those would be the 3 teams that in the play. If we're going into play, the Bengals, I give the Bengals their kudos too, because if they're full strength, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, those are 3 number 1 receivers on one team. Like I'm scared of all 3 of those guys right there. Mixing in the backfield, forget about it. Like you get that guy going. So Bengals is right there too. Though it like I said, it's a tight AFC.
And like what you said a little bit ago of just like, dude, all you have to do is just get into the dance. I mean, and you guys know just from like going to the Super Bowl and also coming up short, home field advantage is nice, but it's not. It doesn't guarantee you anything, just because, the playoffs run through Arrowhead. I mean, look, the Bengals came in and like stunned you guys last year. No one can do it. Like, from our standpoint, it's like, man, let's just get healthy, make a run, get in. I think at this point, people are like, the division is kind of slipping, and a big win this week would help. But I mean, you're still talking about being a game back on the Chiefs, and I feel like unless you're at least neck and neck with them, you're 2, 3, 4 steps behind this. You guys got a solid team, and it just seems like, you guys find ways to win the close games week in and week out, and I think that's what's really kind of hurting the Chargers right now. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see the injury reports come out because
me too. Yeah,
we'll know a lot more about how this matchup's going to go down when those start coming out.
Yeah, because we could be going. You guys could be coming in with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and we could be without Juju and Mecole Hardman. So
right.
So Kadarius Toney and MVS will be very important this week. Kadarius Toney looked good, last week. See if they can add more to him, and will he add an element to to the game that you guys, haven't seen yet, because he's an unknown to you guys. You've never faced him, so
Yep. That's a great point.
So before I get you out of here, who's your MVP right now?
For the AFC?
Just period, league wide.
League wide. Oh gosh, man. I'll probably give it to Mahomes, man. I'm trying to think if unless I'm missing really anyone else. I'd probably say Mahomes. I think Josh Allen could come on strong and make a strong case for it. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy, man, is Tom freaking Brady. I think he's still top 5 in passing yards. Yeah, man. So, but I'll say Mahomes for now. I really haven't been paying attention to that race very much, but Tua's also played a great first half. I think he get some credit for sure. But I think Mahomes is that guy, and he's just having another Mahomes year. So it's kind of hard to if there was another person that was just lighting it on fire. Geno. I've seen Geno get some love.
He's my comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I could definitely rock with that. But yeah, man, look, like everyone knows, man, it's no secret. The West runs through Mahomes, the AFC runs through Mahomes, and he should, like I said a little bit ago, him, Herbert, Allen, Burrow, that should be your MVP pool to pick from for the next 5 to 10 seasons, really.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd add Tyreek Hill into the MVP race because he might eclipse the receiving record.
he's my offensive player of the year right now.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, him and Justin Jefferson are like.
Oh, dude, yeah. I have Jay Jettas on my fantasy team, and oh my gosh, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, that kid is like the second coming of Odell. Like his game reminds me of Odell so much. The catches he make and the way he plays his game, he's like another Odell out there. So
yeah. Watch.
All right, Colin, man, it was good having you on again, brother. Hey, may the best team win on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Good luck for the rest of the season. Hope you guys make it into the playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you having us on. And we'll have to do this again, either for whenever we do like off-season previews for teams, or next year when the games roll around too. So yeah, man, we love coming on and talking ball, and just appreciate you having us on.
No problem, man. No problem. You have a good one, brother.
All right, take care, buddy.
All right, Chiefs Kingdom. It looks like Clarence is not going to be able to make it back in. Probably having some issues, technical difficulties there. So go ahead and close this thing out. If you are a first-time listener and you want to just listen to the audio of Arrowhead Chief Podcast, you can go on any streaming platform that holds, podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor. If you go on those platforms, you can find Arrowhead Chief Podcast, all the episodes from the recent ones to the past ones. You go back and listen to the past episodes. Also, you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that subscription button, hit that notification button. Also, if you want to follow us on any social media platforms, you can go to all social media websites, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. You can follow us at AH Chief Podcast, and we will follow you back. We will follow you back because our motto here is we're not Hollywood. We are fans just like you guys. We fans just like you guys. We're regular people. If you want to give us feedback, critiques, we're here to listen to your critiques. We want to give you guys the best Chiefs podcast content that we can give you. So give us feedback, critiques, talk to us nice. Don't, you ain't gotta be rude about it. But definitely just give us a holler. Got any questions? Anything y'all want us to bring up? We'll definitely look at your question and try to bring it up, in the live stream. So hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Hope you guys are ready for Sunday Night Football. Let's get this dub. Go Chiefs.